Anderson. Look at that. Okay, life is hard. I just gave a minute of talking that you didn't get to hear, but that's okay because I'm going now and you can hear me. There's always something. I feel like I should reset my timer. But I'm not going to reclaim my time right there because that's okay. This just teaches me that you know what? I got to do better on my time checks. I really do. I really got to do, or not the time check, but the tech checks. And this is the love and hate of going live. So I'm going to check first of all, because since we're doing tech checks right now, let's just make sure that I'm actually going live. Is it a thing? Now it's so easy to check. Yes, I am. Okay, so that's a good thing. But we want to make sure, of course, that you can hear me. Timer's going. So timer's been going even though you couldn't hear me before. But tonight's show, I am so super, super excited about tonight's show because it's about fixing boring brands. And I think in the professional space, we tend to be too safe. And that's the thing that we all struggle with. So when you're safe, when you're too safe, because it's important to be safe. This is not play business, you're showing up for business. You can't, well, some brands can, but most of us can't be wilding out on the interwebs hoping for more opportunities. There are some brands that do make it through wilding out and everything, but for the most of us, we can't. But that, safe is such a spectrum though, because most of us are way on the super safe side to the point where you become totally assimilated and not even noticed. And we can't have that. So that is what we're talking about on tonight's show, whenever you're watching it tonight, this morning, because I know I've got viewers all over the world, which, you know what? I swear it actually, and I'm jumping in, it actually it blesses me. It amazes me that people tune in from all around the world. So yes, Patricia's like, we hear you now. All good now. Thank you guys, because this is my crew in the comments. I love you. Nicole, yes, give yourself back 2 minutes. You know what, Nicole? I'm going to reclaim my time. I'm not going to reset the timer, but I am going to reclaim my time. So I'm with you, at least 2 minutes, right? And Reem, yes, she's saying I can hear. G can hear me. Yes. You disappeared now. Reem, that might be you. I think everybody else can see me. And Lucic is currently in bed eating soup assimilated. Lucic, are you okay? Anytime someone's talking about, feeling like eating soup, that means they could be sick. And, we don't play with sickness, especially right now. Dane, hello. Jen from TeamLive from San Francisco. So, yes, speaking of which, thank you, Jen, for the cue. Are you Team Live or are you Team Replay? Either way, I'm so happy that you're on my team because today is going to be an awesome topic. So let me just jump back in the chat one more time, loud and clear. Thank you, Andrea, Jamila, Dane, Nicole. Perfect. Up on Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you. This is team. This is my squad out there, right? So guys, while you're watching, if you could do me a favor and pick whatever emoji is your favorite emoji and just click it away. This is telling the algorithm that this is some good stuff. Because that's what we got to do out here in these content streets. We got to let people know what's up. And that's how we got to play. We got to play that. Is it a game? Perhaps. If you're enjoying it, if you enjoy me, if you know I'm coming with the good stuff today, because you know I am, give me some likes in advance and I'll hit you up for another like later. But right now, just let the algorithm know. That's all I ask. Not too much, right? Not too much. All right, guys. So today, like I said, we're talking about boring brands fixed. But we are also, stay tuned for Tap That App. I have featured this one before, but now I am so excited to refeature it because y'all know how I love a good lifetime deal. And this, you just wait. So anybody who's a content creator, podcast create, like anything, podcast content, anything like that, this is something that is going to come in handy that you will never, 2 years from now, if you didn't jump in on this deal, you'll be like, damn, I wish I did that. So tune in for that. Stay tuned for that. My scroll stopper is a really phenomenal way to get noticed. And it's going to encompass a lot of my tips today as far as fixing boring, safe brands, right? We're going to fix them. I'm going to give you some things to think about, some things to put into action today. But the scroll stopper is going to kind of tie it together. It actually worked out like God just like ordered this up for me, and it was like perfect because I found the scroll stopper on the weekend and I came up with this show's idea yesterday. So it's just all good. It's my steps are ordered. Let me tell you that much. So this is good news, but I want to ask you in the meantime, have you been playing it too safe with your brand? A lot of you guys have already jumped in the comments when I posted this so you guys could get the reminder, but let me know. Yes, no, maybe. Are you playing it too safe? I can honestly admit, and you can see my comment in there, yeah, I have definitely at times played it too safe. There are things that I just didn't feel like taking the risk on. And that could be a myriad of reasons. And again, safety is a spectrum. You have to weigh your own feelings of safety. But I'm going to take a look in the comments right now. Oh, hey, Gabe, fellow live streamer. I haven't seen you in a while. Richard, first time here. Good so far. Well, that's good to know, Richard. Hang on. I'm telling you, you are in for a treat, my friend. Okay. Leanne says she's boring as they come. No, your brand is not boring. We got to talk about that. In fact, Leanne, your earlier comment, I'm featuring that today because we're going to talk about that. And Patricia's like, no, I'm wild. I love it. Own it, Patricia. I love it. Z says yes. Fabiana's TeamLive. Thank you so much for joining me, TeamLive. Linda is just happy to be here. And Diana, I love you too. I'm so glad you're here. I love my team. Honestly, I really, really do. So a lot of people are saying yes. Sebastian's saying yes. Everybody's saying yes. And it's a really good question. Are we playing it too safe? Because safe feels good, right? But it doesn't look good as far as standing out. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about, again, feeling safe. Are you playing it too safe in your brand? Should you be standing out? Should you be doing that more? And is safety causing your brand to be boring? And I'm not just going to tell you about I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to give you 7 things that you need to consider so that you can fix a boring brand. Because like I said earlier, especially for our professional side of our personal brands, we tend to play it extremely safe just because it feels right. But that's not who gets the money. That's not who gets the opportunity. That's not who gets the clients, the opportunities, and so much more. It's the people who stand out. And I always say this, the social wheel gets the grease, but you got to be strategic about it. And if you don't stand out, you're just sliding by. Too greasy. Anyways, guys, boring brands fixed. That's what we're talking about right now. So let's jump into my tips. All right, so analyze your F.B.I. You're probably wondering, Cher, F.B.I., what do they have to do with this? So let's say this all with me. Your F.B.I. is your first brand impression. You like that, huh? F.B.I., first brand impression. So what you need to do is go onto your brand with a fresh set of eyes. I recently just did a talk with the American Marketing Association, and I was talking about how corporate, especially the corporate B2B social media presence needs an overhaul, because oftentimes we could put a logo. If your colors are blue, their colors are blue, I could switch out the logos and you couldn't tell the difference as far as whose copy and whose posts were what, because they just blend in. They look exactly the same. The same goes for a lot of you guys watching right now, especially in more traditional spaces where we have been conditioned to believe that safety, it means boring, and it doesn't. You can still bring your brand to life even in a safe environment. I want to make sure that I'm not telling you to go, although some of y'all wildin', Patricia, but I'm not telling you guys to go out there and do that. Yes. First brand impression. Thank you, Zamini. I appreciate you getting people educated in the comments, right? So you need to take a look at your first brand impression. Can I put somebody else's picture there on your brand, on your profile, and all of a sudden I wouldn't see your personality. I wouldn't see, like, it could be like anyprojectmanager.com kind of thing. Like I could literally swap you out for somebody else. Anyvp.com, I could literally put somebody else's picture and I wouldn't know the difference because all I see is a resume, which means absolutely nothing to me in the experience section. You haven't taken the time to hit me with your best shot. Hit me with your best shot. Singing was not my thing just because my name is Cher, but I like to sing anyway. But seriously, you got to hit me with your best shot. If you just have VP of this or project manager or whatever your QA, like whatever your position is, if that's all you got at your company, I could literally swap in your photo and change your name and it's something else. So what does that mean for you when I almost spilled this. For all you longtime Just As Cher watchers, you all know I've done that before. Live. Live. Like literally spilled water on my computer, but not today. Not today, folks. All right, staying focused. All right, so what I mean by that, there are so many different little tiny things. These are all safe things, by the way, that you can do. The first, obviously, your first brand impression is really like the main things that we look at. So your photo. Does your photo look boring or does it stand out? Does it pop? Right? A lot of things that people are doing right now, especially in Canva, is they will remove the background and put a pop of color, right? Andy Foote, I love the way he's done. He has like this cog cutout and he puts different colors in the background. Looks super cool. Go look at his, profile and you'll see it just, that's something that can make you stand out. That's pretty safe. Can't get you in trouble at work. Right? Take a look at your background. Are you still with the LinkedIn, standard options, or have you uploaded something? Have you done the voice recording of your name? These are little things that no longer can I put somebody else's picture there. Have you taken the time with your headline? These are all the basic things. The first impression, when I look at your profile, can I tell what you do beyond your title? Because VP of whatever doesn't tell me a lot, but will I get an idea of what you do, what you're responsible for within what the upper half of your profile tells me? That's why you need to sit there. Your profile is designed, or should be written and designed, so that when I look you up, I either want to work with you, for you, or refer you. So keep that in mind. And because I'm not even talking to job seekers right now. I'm talking to people who are validating you every single day. Your credibility, your experience. They want to be able to introduce you. They want to know who they're working with. And that's why they're looking you up. So do you stand out or do you blend right in? So analyze your first brand impression, right? Guys, this feels good, okay? Oops, that feels good. Thank you. All right, I'm going to jump into the comments in just a second. But the next thing I want you to think about, so this is, in addition, kind of touched on it, but like, again, your pictures, your graphics, all that stuff. But I want you to take this a step further because that was the F.B.I, right? But now that we pull it in, when you are creating content, whether you're an active content creator or whether you are an evergreen content creator, and here's the difference, is some of you will want to just create enough content for your featured section so that people have something to click into to get depth on who you say you are based off of showcasing your knowledge. So if you write what they would call evergreen content or videos, things that don't get stale dated, you can feature that in the featured section. But as you create, design, write your content, is there a cohesive look and feel? So branded with your colors, branded with your fonts, same fonts, and graphics. Is there a style to that kind of like, oh my gosh, when I get there, I've landed somewhere. And then this just improves your first brand impression. I think Renee Lindo does a fantastic job with her, like that Barbie fuchsia pink that she works with. Like that's her color. When I see her rolling through my feed, boom, I stop because I see it. It's consistent. You always see it. So that's something that, again, if you can start to really be strategic, it'll show up for you. So keep that in mind. All right, next thing. So many people play it safe. And see, again, I'm not telling you guys to do anything wild yet or at all. These are just basic things that can level you up to stand out. It doesn't, like, this is not Instagram or TikTok. When we're talking about LinkedIn, we're talking about your professional brand. You don't have to go over the top, especially because I find, relatively speaking, outside of the marketers, the bar is pretty low in most industries. Again, outside the marketing team and not even all the marketers, but the bar is pretty low. So that immediately gives you a level up where you're standing out professionally, safely, but you're pushing the envelope. I'm going to get to a little bit more in a second. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a nudge, but I want to know, are you standing out in the comments? So it's interesting. I was on Clubhouse this morning or this afternoon, and we were talking about, standing out in the herd. So me, Andy Foote, David Breyer, this is what we do in the Business Rebels Club. We have amazing conversations. So this was a nice blend, kind of overlap into what we're doing, because I want to make sure that I'm specifically talking to corporate professionals right now and entrepreneurs who serve corporate professionals or serve corporate in general. I want to make sure that y'all are not just, hey, nice post. That's never going to make you stand out, not only to the person who posted the content, but also the people that they are drawing in to look at the content. So what you now have to think about is, how can you stand out in the content, in the comments? So one of the things that I always recommend people do, if you took the time to really write, okay, I'm going overboard, but a dissertation in somebody's comments, you took the time, you cut and paste that bad boy, save it in your notes, save it somewhere, and at some point, you can repurpose that and share it as a post. But you need to stand out, because you can see, as we talked about earlier in my Clubhouse talk, we were talking about the fact that the people who bring their comment game, their A game in their comments, you see that they get the likes. You see that they get attention. You see that they stand out. And for those of you who are not active content creators, which you don't have to be, you create micro content in the comments. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. All right, and that's another way for you to stand out and not be boring. Because immediately, what does that even mean? Immediately, you are leveling up your game, because not everyone, the people who stand out are the people who do things that not everybody does. Now, this is a good one. This is interesting. Because you guys see me on video, you know how I express myself. You know I'm like probably a little over the top in my expressions, but this is the way I talk. So if you were to hire me to speak, to train your team, to host your whatever, this is who you're hiring. There's no difference, right? But here's the thing. When you read my copy, I bet you hear my voice. So when I write a caption, even though there's no video associated, because you got to know me, because you know my cadence and how I speak, the things I might say, I have little innuendos and stuff like that, like tap that app, like come on. But anyways, you hear my voice. People actually say that to me. It's like I could actually, when I was reading that, I could hear you say that. So this is what you want. And again, going back to the beginning, nobody's picture can go on your profile when you start to do these things to stand out. I can't swap you out for somebody else. You'll know it's me, right? There's a very wise book where it's like, the sheep know my voice. Your tribe will know your voice. So leverage that. Start to bring your voice. And you guys might be You might be thinking, okay, well, how do I do this? One of the things that you need to do, in addition to writing how you speak and really delivering in the way that you do, and I find that for me, writing how I speak, I often dictate, because then I can edit it after, but I get my true voice in that. But the other thing is, you do need to have a stance. And this is where I'm going to connect the dots to my scroll stopper coming up, which is such an awesome way to get media attention and attention on the broader network. You need to have a stance. You need to basically take a side on some things. You can pick less controversial stuff, but you stand out when you have an opinion. So know what your opinions are in certain parts of your industry, because that's really important. I'm actually going to move the timer out of the way, just because I have a few more points beyond point number 5. So here is, and actually what gets, but we're going to pretend the apostrophe is not there. What gets them going? So what gets you, and this is something that came up today in my Clubhouse chat, is what gets people going? What are people excited about? What people can talk about, even if you're not totally like you feel like you've talked this to death, but every single time you post about it, your network and people get all excited about it. One example that we talked about today was the LinkedIn algorithm. Y'all could talk about this stuff all day. Or new LinkedIn updates. Y'all could talk about this stuff all day. LinkedIn Live, access to LinkedIn Live. Can I tell you how I can get y'all riled up by talking about LinkedIn Live and getting access and what it takes and what, people have been challenged, blah, blah, blah. People get riled up about that. So even though you feel like you might have talked it to death, that's something that, again, that's getting you noticed and getting people to come to you and see your brand. So you got to know what gets them going, so that these are the things that they're coming to you for. This one I love, and this is my final point, then I have a question. Do the scary thing. So, sorry, I was like, my throat. I need some water. I'm parched. These words are making me thirsty. But you got to do the scary thing. So here's what I mean by that. Is if you're afraid of video, or if you're afraid to take a stance on something, of course, evaluate that, because you want to make sure that you, especially for you corporate warriors out there, you want to make sure that you're in alignment with, all the policies and guidelines and stuff like that. But most of them, I'm telling you, you're more afraid of them because you haven't really read them, right? You just know that thou shalt not, so then you just don't do anything, right? And that kind of sucks. So, but when I'm saying do the scary thing, is don't be afraid of putting stuff out there and it doesn't get the visibility that you expected. Like it only gets a few views. Because sometimes that's a glitch in the matrix, or the glitch in the algorithm. It didn't get to be seen. Maybe you shared it at the wrong time. But that means your entire network didn't see it anyway. So you could try reposting it again. Delete and repost. Trust me, if you only got like 50 views on it, those 50 people are not coming for you to say, oh my gosh, you just posted that. No one cares. So do the scary thing could mean get in front of the camera and do a video. Get in front, write a blog post, post something where you're taking an opinion on, not necessarily, well, you can go for a total controversial topic, but something, and I'm not saying jump into the political realm. Listen, I'm just talking about the industry stuff here. I'm just trying to level up your boring so you're no longer boring and you start to stand out and you're still safe. Again, I'm not pushing the envelope here, but you got to do the scary things. You got to do the things that, oh my gosh, I've never done this before. It's a perfect reason why you should be doing it. You need to test. And then you start to test the waters. You're like, hey, this is not that bad, right? So what I want to know from you guys as I jump into the comments, how else can we fix boring brands? Is there anything I missed? I want to know in the comments. So let's jump in here right now. All right. Woo, Cher gang, I love that. Let's see. I do talk a lot with my hands. I'm just laughing. Philomena's like, Talking with hands. I didn't even read the whole comment, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, that must be about me. All right. I'm loving this that people are getting. It was a G who's in the room, Jihan. She was in the room, and we had a really great conversation about this. And Juma said, Alex said Juma just posted a video about that today. Love that idea. Repurpose content is key. Absolutely. Yes, spend your time on your summary. Yes, it is the prime real estate. Exactly, Sharon. Right? And this is how we can show, here you can showcase your other interests. Not only that, or yes, and the people who are actually reading your summary are the people, the about section, are the people who really want to know about you, right? It's not E for everyone because everyone's not reading it. But those who actually want to know more about you, they are the ones who are reading it. And that's something that we definitely have to keep in mind. So I love that. Repurposing content is key, especially, what I was saying earlier with the comments. And I love my share gang. That's right. Have an opinion. So Patricia says, having an opinion on my industry is the key to my brand. You see what I'm talking about? Keys to the game right there. Patricia's already got that unlocked. And she's the one who said her brand is wildin', and I love it. Right? And, thank you, let me say it. Nina. I hope I said that right. And if not, you can tell me. You can let me know. And where's the scroll? Yo, Alex, you're onto something. Where's the scroll stopper merch? It's coming. Coming with that merch. I'm telling you. And have fun, test topics. Shante says, when I posted my first video on this platform, I was nervous about the feedback. And I survived. You sure did. You sure did. And that's the whole point here. That's what I'm talking about. You can get through this. You can survive. That is awesome. I love that. Oh my gosh. There's so much good stuff. And then if you have a hard time writing your summary, this is what Sebastian's recommending for your summary section, is record yourself talking about your brand to 5 close friends. I love it. It's just getting it out there, because this is your about section, contrary to popular belief or preference. I prefer, because I'm not going to say there's a right and wrong, because there is not, but I prefer, and most leading LinkedIn experts will also jump on, be right there with me, that first person approach, as opposed to writing about yourself as if you didn't write about yourself in third person, right? Cher Jones is a corporate social media trainer that has the love of technology hardwired into her DNA, right? Like, that's all good and fun, but not when I'm introducing myself. Your bio, your about section, your summary, whatever you want to call it, is an introduction to you. So just keep that in mind. Love it. So Sebastian, everybody's loving your tips. And I love what Bonnie is saying. Yes, build a content library so you can always have something to pull at. This is queen of content, by the way. Bonnie is crushing it like daily. She's a daily content, and she's killing it on TikTok. You should go follow her over there. Go Lids over there. So go over there. And exactly. Philomena, she's laughing at the fact that, we all know it's you writing about you. So relax and write about yourself, or introduce yourself rather than write about yourself, right? And summaries are you talking to your visitor? Exactly, Ilya. You see, all the LinkedIn experts agree. It's you talking to the people, you introducing yourself. It's to get you to hello in the DMs. It's to get you to connect, right? So welcome them. Allow me to reintroduce myself if you just met me in my content, right? Now you get to know. Like I said, your about section is not E for everyone. It's the people who want to know about you. All right. So did you guys get something out of that? I hope you did. But before I jump off, and let me know with a little like, a little clapping, a little love, whatever. I told you I'd be hitting you guys up again, but the algorithm loves it. So just let me know. But before I jump off into the next topic, I wanted to bring up what Leanne had mentioned earlier on in the post, that when I was promoting this this live, she said, will you be sharing ways to know if I'm boring through thoughts are legit or imposter syndrome. I think many believe they are boring, myself included, every single day. But is that of us or something else? So when I read this and I'm thinking about this question here, oftentimes we are asking ourselves, like, am I boring, or is it like, am I thinking I'm boring and I'm not, or am I actually boring because we see these other people who are popping off on different networks and they come out, they have so much personality. And I know I have a big personality. I know that. And I also, okay, perfect. I know that. And I recognize that. And not everybody is like, I think when it comes to that, as far as Leanne was what you're asking, or my impression of what you're asking is, are people enjoying your content? I think that you can see that engagement, that you'd still, if you compare yourself to a lot of your other peers, you'll recognize immediately that you're not boring, that you're bringing fresh new topics, which could be another point altogether, right? So you're bringing these fresh new topics, you're getting out there, you're also yourself in your comments, and I see that all the time in what you post and how you respond to people. So we will get in our heads, but that's usually, so my answer to that would be, we're usually in that space when we're comparing, like, our mindset as far as, am I actually being boring? It's because you're probably comparing yourself to somebody else, and you shouldn't, because you're you and you need to show up like you. So going back to these lists is like, can I hear my voice? When people read this, will they hear my voice, or am I plain Jane? You couldn't tell. You could put someone else's picture. The minute you start to do these things is when you start to really exemplify who you are, right? And if you have a cheeky tone to you, I know I have a little, I definitely poke the bear. I run up to the line, like with things like Tap That App coming up soon. Those are, where we're at. And so that is one of the things that we just have to start thinking about. So I'll move my clock back. So bottom line is, I think if you are doing everything else that I said, so those 7 tips, and you still are wondering if you are boring, it's probably because you're comparing yourself to somebody else. And I bet you I'm right on that. I'll check in the comments in just a second. So coming up next is my scroll stopper. Already, guys, I'm pausing the timer. I can't handle it right now. It's stressing me out. But all right, today's scroll stopper is brought to you by Rick Watson. Okay, Rick is a strategic e-commerce consultant. He's a CEO and founder of RMW Commerce Consulting, and he's all into, of course, e-commerce strategy, sales, and marketing. So why did Rick get my attention? Well, we all know that LinkedIn, every day, they have a whole team of news editors, and they're talking about what's going on in the industry, because what the experience that LinkedIn wants us to have is that it's a destination for your professional life. So not only are you just here to connect and consume content, you're here to learn and stay up with the news, politics, all that stuff. We're seeing that all coming right from LinkedIn, right? And we know there's supporting creators, but they also have an entire news team of actual journalists doing the work. So one of the things they do with their editorial team is they look for the stories that are in the news. So late last week, Shopify lost 3 top executives. So in Rick's position as a strategic e-commerce consultant, and let's just take a look. I'm going to pull you guys over. So let's take a look here. So what happened is that Shopify, basically, they had, I'll read what he says, so because I know that's kind of hard to see. Shopify exec departures are the biggest story in the last 24 hours. Big roles and bigger implications. Make no mistake, this is an inflection point. First, what happened? Chief Talent Officer, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Legal Officer have all departed on the back of the Chief Product Officer transitioning out last year. Then he gives a few notes and he breaks down a few things, right? And then he gives his opinion. So let's just take a look. So his first line in this post, and the reason why this is so important, so let me look at you guys for a second. So the reason why this is so important is he's having a voice in a major story. And as a result, we'll look at this in just a second. In just 4 days, he got 400 likes or in pieces of engagement plus 78 comments on that because it was featured in LinkedIn News. Why is this a good thing? If you want to be a go-to expert, if that's what you're building up to, part of it should be media attention. That should be something that you want to be a media contributor. So someone, when a story comes up that the media is, the news media, the relevant news media on their beat is talking about, you want to be one of their go-to people that they could call either on a radio show, on a podcast, on a television broadcast like CNBC, you've got CNN, you've got so many different options, Bloomberg, BNN, like whatever it is that where you want to be, that could be something for you. So what you want to make sure is that you are constantly commenting and posting about the news as it happens. There's no waiting a week as you kind of collect and gather your thoughts. The one thing that Rick did is right away, he was already like, he claims his first line claims the importance, like why you should be reading this from him. Make no mistake, this is an inflection point. So and then also before that, he says the biggest story in the last 24 hours. So again, and we'll come back to me, you can see already, he's like elevating it. This is important. The biggest story in the last 24 hours, and he's talking about it. He's on the money on it. He's on it, right? So the next thing that he's taking a stance. Make no mistake, this is an inflection point. This is a big story. Pay attention, right? So this is something that you are laying already a claim, a stance. And then he gives that brief what happened. So guys, this is a template here. If you don't see it, you don't see it. But this is a template. So he does a really good job briefly explaining what happened and that high level but important points. Because especially in broadcast media, you need to be able to talk to things in sound bites. And he does a really good job of laying that out. So he lays it out what happened, and then afterwards, he shares his expectations. So the things and his expectations or his projections of what's going to happen next. So what he expects, and then he also speculates a what if scenario. So this is really interesting. Again, look at this more or less about Rick Watson himself and what he posted, but more about how you can talk about the news happening in your industry. So briefly describe what happened, share your expectations, speculate what could happen if these things happen. Very interesting stuff, guys. And also, throughout this entire thing, he's showcasing his specific knowledge about what's happening at Shopify. So if you go through the post, which I'm going to do a follow-up post to this because I think it was just really brilliant on the layout of it and everything like that. But he showcases specific organizational knowledge. So he knows about that company. So who would the media call? He's setting himself up for success, especially when they're validating him for future opportunities. Because they may not call him for this one, or they may. Because the media is active. Like I know LinkedIn covets those relationships with journalists. They give them certain access to certain accounts so that they can do their research and all that good stuff. So we know that that's important. So this is something that you want to use. And of course, to be found, guys, he uses the Shopify hashtag. And he uses it twice. That doesn't really matter. And the thing with hashtags, especially right now on LinkedIn, 3 is the magic number, as my friend Andy Foote says. 3. That's all you should be including in your posts. And I know we've gone and we've said as much, anywhere between 3 and 9. And originally we were saying 3, and then we went to 3 to 9 because that's what a study said last fall. But now, out of the horse's mouth, so out of LinkedIn developers, 3, my friends. You can have 5 on a creator profile, but 3 is what you want. So he uses the hashtag. So that's how he got found and was featured by the LinkedIn editors. So he responded quickly. He used this awesome layout on how to do it. He took a stance. Remember, you guys have to have a voice if you want to stand out. And that's what he did. So I want to stand out by talking to you guys. So let me see what you guys think. All right. Yes. So Brian's even commenting, big inflection point indeed, with 3 major C-suite execs departing on the heels of a 4th. Exactly. 3. And that is a big deal. Everybody's recognizing it. Yes, 3 hashtags. That's it. Right? Renee, that is it. So stick into 3. That's all you guys need to know. That's funny what you guys are on. And you want to make sure that at the end of the day, I see this. Yeah, he did use the hashtag. So I think you guys saw that in the end, just making sure. And again, you see this. If you have to screenshot this right now, this should give you some ideas of what you should be doing when you're responding. Take a stance. Respond to media stories. Give your opinion. Speculate. Share what you expect to happen next. So it's like that what happened, what you think will happen based off of your knowledge, and what could happen if they do something a little bit more controversial. So this is the good stuff right here. This was definitely a scroll stopper for me because he got attention. And then again, though, that layout was fire. So I hope you guys found that helpful. And of course, now we're moving on to my next favorite and my last favorite, Tap That App. 2 Ps, of course. And I want to remind you before I even tap that app, are you following my hashtag? Speaking of hashtags, make sure you do. If you're not, just click on the hashtag in the post and you can follow it, or search it and you can follow it. Definitely want to make sure you see my content, because you know when you do see it, you know it's fire. That's what I do. That's all I want. You hear my voice. You know me. Right? So make sure we do that. All right. But okay. Can we talk about Tap That App for a second? I am so excited about this. All right. So today's Tap That App feature is upbeat. I talked about this before because another creator friend of mine had a video about this. However, when I talked about this, and I thought it was good back then, so basically it is a music selection. So if you want to add music to your videos, guys, music to your podcast, music to anything, this is $59 lifetime deal. Lifetime at AppSumo. So look this up. And I was on, because I was looking for stuff for a podcast that I'm working on, and I ended up, the music was so good, because I like a lot of lo-fi hip hop, like just playing in the background as a way to focus. And the music on there was so, dare I say, good, in the sense of it was just great beats, great selection, easy to find, and it's $59 lifetime deal. It gives you the code, so if you use it in your YouTube videos, you won't get flagged with the copyright, because it has everything you need to. You just cut and paste it into the caption of your video, and you're good to go. So guys, I can't tell you how much of a good deal this is, so definitely pick that up. It is so good. And I was really impressed by the quality of the music. So definitely, yes, you need this. You absolutely need this. Susanna says, I'm sold. Patricia's like, I need this app. TeamLive, I love it. I know, Fabiana, that is my problem. I'm like, you know, I got my clearly I have a digital tech habit, okay? My digital garage is so full, but it's because of these damn lifetime deals. Not everyone is going to work out, but when you find the good one, that you are like, a year later, you'll look back and you look at how everybody's paying so much for it. Like, guys, one of the streaming services that I use, Restream, I got that lifetime deal. I think I paid $129 lifetime. And I can do anything that you can on like a pro account. Like, it's dope. But, you know, I took a gamble way back almost 2 years ago. I save so much money. So even when I waste money on some of my digital, like some of it's, not all of it works out, like where I'm actively using it. But this one, my friends, you cannot go wrong for $59 lifetime deal. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to jump into the comments one more time. I want to know, do you guys have a question? I'll give you my A to your Q. So you just need to ask. But in the meantime, I want to remind you that sharing is definitely caring. So if you know somebody who could benefit from the app, who has a boring ass brand and needs to, because they're playing it too safe, or who is a subject matter expert and should be talking about what's going on in the news, share it with them. Hit that share button. You can share it publicly or you can share it in the DMs and really make sure somebody watches that because I love it. Can I share the link? Let me go back to that. I will share the link with you, Shanae. Give me 1 second. Let me move it back for you. So there it is, appsumo.com/upbeat. That's all, and then I just put the price there, but that's not part of the link, of course. So appsumo.com/upbeat. Hope that helps. And it's called Upbeat with 2 P's, just like tap that app, 2 P's, right? And so good. If you go to their website, you won't get the AppSumo deal. So you got to go to appsumo.com. And yes, I love it. Fabiana's like, I'm a lifetime member as well. So I got you. I hear you. So this is what we're talking about. Make sure, like I said, sharing is caring. And I don't see any questions. So Misha's saying she'll listen later. You always represent, Misha. I appreciate you. So thank you so much. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been like an epic episode and I appreciate you more than you know. And of course, if you ever wanted to catch a back episode, did you know I actually have a YouTube channel? And so all the episodes, especially my regulars, my homies, guys, go ahead and subscribe because I'm going to start to put more content out on there, like some micro content and stuff as well. So make sure you're there. And coming up next, let's see what's coming up next. If y'all have any ideas, let me know in the comments before or after show. It's all good. And at that point, if not, I'm always talking about something current anyway. So I don't have any immediate plans. I have been talking about a challenge. Every week I'm talking this poor challenge. It's like never gets love, but I'm going to work on that one because I think that will be really fun. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I will definitely see you guys on the next episode. So thank you.